Welcome to World Code Updates, your daily source for global events and breaking stories. July 15, 2025. The world watches as the sun rises over the calm waters of Subic Bay, marking a day that will be remembered in history books for years to come. Subic Bay awakens to a new era. The gentle hum of daily life is interrupted by a sense of anticipation, as the community senses that something monumental is about to unfold. The misty dawn is shattered by the arrival of U.S. Navy warships, led by the formidable USS Ronald Reagan. Their silhouettes cut through the fog, signaling a powerful return that echoes across the bay. This is more than a port call. It's a bold statement of American power, returning to a place it once called home. The sight of sailors standing at attention, saluting the Philippine coastline, is a reminder of shared history and renewed commitment. Onlookers gather, torn between excitement and anxiety, as the Philippine and American flags fly side by side. For many, it's a moment of pride. For others, a source of uncertainty about what the future holds. After decades of independence, Subic Bay is once again at the center of global strategy. Its storied past as a naval stronghold is revived, blending memories of old alliances with the realities of a changing world. The return is Manila's answer to rising tensions in the South China Sea, a calculated move to reinforce sovereignty. Helicopters buzz overhead, sailors line the decks, and armored vehicles roll ashore, signaling a new phase of cooperation and defense. The world takes notice. America is back. News outlets from across the globe broadcast the event live, analyzing every detail and speculating on the implications for regional security. Years of negotiation and shifting alliances have led to this moment. Behind the scenes, diplomats and military leaders have worked tirelessly to forge agreements that will shape the balance of power in Asia. For the Philippines, neutrality is no longer an option. The government stands firm, acknowledging that the stakes are too high to remain on the sidelines as global powers vie for influence. The quiet Freeport is reborn overnight, its identity shifting from commerce to security. Warehouses once filled with goods now house military equipment, and the familiar faces of port workers are replaced by uniformed guards. The U.S. Navy's return is about more than ships. It's about drawing a line in the strategic waters of the South China Sea. Patrols intensify and the message is clear: the balance of power is being recalibrated. Subic Bay stands once again as a symbol of alliance and resolve. As the sun climbs higher, the world is reminded that history is not just remembered. It is made right here on these storied shores. Subic Bay's transformation is swift and unmistakable. The hum of commerce is replaced by the roar of jet engines and the presence of joint patrols. Commercial docks are retrofitted for warships, security is tightened, and military drills become routine. The bay's deep harbor, once a commercial asset, is now a strategic anchor for U.S. and Philippine forces. Investments pour in to upgrade piers, runways, and communications, turning Subic into a state-of-the-art military hub. Local businesses adapt, some thriving, others anxious about the future. The atmosphere is tense. Subic is no longer just a gateway for goods, but a front line in a superpower rivalry. The bay, once a model of economic conversion, now dons military fatigues. Subic Bay is reborn as a fortress by the sea. The return to Subic Bay is a direct response to China's assertiveness in the South China Sea. Filipino fishermen face harassment, outposts are blockaded, and artificial islands rise within Philippine waters. Diplomatic protests have failed. Manila turns to its oldest ally for credible deterrence. For the U.S., Subic offers unmatched access and rapid response capability in a critical region. The move counters China's strategy to keep U.S. forces at bay. For the Philippines, it's a reaffirmation of the Mutual Defense Treaty, a signal that it is not alone. The region's balance of power is at stake, and Subic is now a linchpin in America's Indo-Pacific strategy. Integrated deterrence and alliance building are the new order. The era of passive diplomacy is over. The Philippines chooses a stronger shield. Subic's community is divided, hopeful for prosperity, wary of the risks. Many remember the economic boom the U.S. base once brought and see new jobs and growth on the horizon. Real estate surges, businesses prepare for a revival, and a new generation sees opportunity. But old wounds linger. Memories of crime, social issues, and abandoned children haunt the past. Activists warn that sovereignty is at risk and fear Subic could become a target in a superpower conflict. The presence meant to provide security could also invite destruction. Coffee shops and council meetings buzz with debate. Is the promise of jobs worth the risk of becoming a pawn? The community weighs prosperity against peril, knowing the stakes are deeply personal. Subic's future is uncertain, shaped by both hope and anxiety. The true price of security remains an open question. To truly understand the significance of Subic Bay today, we must first journey back through the layers of its remarkable history. Every chapter, every event, has shaped what Subic has become, a place where the past and present are deeply intertwined. Subic Bay's strategic value was first recognized by the Spanish in 1885, who saw its deep natural harbor as a key to controlling the region. They built fortifications and established a naval base, laying the groundwork for Subic's future as a military hub. In 1898, as the tides of empire shifted, the Americans seized Subic Bay, marking the start of a new era. The bay quickly became a focal point for U.S. military ambitions in the Pacific. The U.S. transformed Subic into a formidable Pacific stronghold, playing a crucial role through 2 world wars and the long, tense years of the Cold War. Warships, submarines, and aircraft carriers all called Subic home, making it one of the largest overseas military bases in the world. Over time, Subic became more than just a military installation. It grew into a city within a base, complete with schools, hospitals, shops, and neighborhoods. For decades, it stood as a symbol of the complex, sometimes uneasy relationship between the United States and the Philippines. But change was inevitable. Rising Filipino nationalism and the devastating eruption of Mount Pinatubo in 1991 forced the U.S. to withdraw in 1992, ending nearly a century of American presence. Rather than fade into obscurity, Subic reinvented itself as a free port, opening its doors to global commerce and investment. Today, it stands as a model of economic rebirth, bustling with industry, trade, and opportunity for thousands of Filipinos. The return of American forces is not a simple replay of history. Now, the Philippines is a sovereign partner, shaping its own destiny and forging new alliances on equal footing. The new alliance is built on mutual interests and shared threats, reflecting a partnership based on respect and cooperation rather than colonial rule. Yet the echoes of history remain. Subic's deepwater port and strategic location are as vital to regional security and prosperity as ever before. The cycles of power adaptation and reinvention continue as Subic Bay evolves with each new era. Subic Bay's long and storied past is a constant reminder of its enduring importance, a place where history is never far from the present and the future is always being written. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, is the legal backbone of the U.S. return to the Philippines. Signed in 2014, EDCA represents a significant shift in the security partnership between the two countries, reflecting evolving regional dynamics and shared strategic interests. It builds on decades of military cooperation, but with new terms that address both nations' current needs and concerns. Unlike the old basing agreements that allowed for permanent U.S. installations, EDCA authorizes only a rotational, not permanent, U.S. presence at carefully selected Philippine military sites. This means American troops and equipment can be stationed temporarily, but the bases themselves remain under Philippine control. The Philippines retains full ownership and sovereignty over all EDCA sites. Every activity from construction to operations requires close consultation and approval from Philippine authorities, ensuring that national interests are always prioritized. EDCA enables the U.S. to pre-position defense equipment, upgrade existing facilities, and conduct joint training exercises. These improvements are designed to boost the capabilities of both militaries, making them more effective in responding to a range of security challenges and humanitarian crises. The inclusion of Subic Bay as an EDCA site is a game-changer. Its deep-water port and expansive airfield offer unmatched strategic depth, allowing for rapid deployment and logistical support across the region. With these capabilities, the U.S. can project power and respond rapidly to regional crises, from natural disasters to security threats. For the Philippines, EDCA provides a credible deterrent against external aggression and enhances its disaster response capacity. However, critics argue that EDCA skirts constitutional bans on foreign military bases and raises serious questions about Philippine sovereignty. Public protests and heated debates reflect deep-seated concerns about the agreement's long-term implications. Issues of legal jurisdiction, potential environmental impact, and the risk of entanglement in U.S. military conflicts continue to fuel public and political debate, making EDCA a contentious topic in national discourse. Despite the controversy, the Philippine government defends EDCA as essential for modernizing the country's defense posture and strengthening its alliance with the United States in an increasingly uncertain region. The activation of Subic Bay under EDCA marks a new era in the alliance, one that is modern, flexible, and for many still controversial. It symbolizes both opportunity and challenge for the future of Philippine security. Ultimately, the EDCA framework stands as both a shield for national defense and a flashpoint for debate, shaping the future of U.S.-Philippine relations. Subic Bay's activation has supercharged U.S.-Philippine military cooperation. Joint exercises like Balikatan now feature live fire drills and amphibious landings focused on real-world threats. Subic serves as a permanent staging ground for these operations. Massive upgrades, runways, piers, fuel depots benefit both U.S. and Philippine forces. The alliance brings advanced hardware and training, modernizing the Philippine military. The ripple effect is regional. Allies like Japan and Australia are reassured, while others reassess their positions. The U.S. presence at Subic shifts the Indo-Pacific strategic calculus. The alliance aims to deter aggression by making any attack costly. A porcupine defense emerges, layered, resilient, and unmistakably committed. Subic is now a linchpin in a new security architecture. The shield is forged with steel, training, and political will. The message: the Philippines will not stand alone. Subic's reopening has sent shockwaves worldwide. Beijing condemns the move, calling it destabilizing and a threat to regional peace. China sees the U.S. presence as a direct challenge to its ambitions in the South China Sea. Within ASEAN, reactions are mixed. Vietnam quietly supports, while Cambodia and Laos express concern. Allies like Japan and Australia welcome the alliance, seeing it as vital for regional stability and freedom of navigation. European powers voice support for international law and stable trade routes. The world watches as the Philippines becomes a focal point in the U.S.-China rivalry. Manila's sovereign decision has global consequences, redrawing lines of support and opposition. Subic Bay is once again at the heart of a global contest. The U.S.-Philippines alliance is both shield and sword. Security and modernization are the promise, deterrence, advanced technology, and economic revival. Subic's development brings jobs and growth, fueling hope for a stable future. But the risks are grave. Entanglement in a U.S.-China conflict could turn Subic into a battlefield. The presence meant to deter war could invite it, with catastrophic consequences. Social and political divisions deepen as old fears of crime and exploitation resurface. Nationalism and sovereignty are tested by the reality of foreign troops on Philippine soil. The Philippines walks a tightrope, balancing security against peril. The alliance offers strength, but demands caution and constant vigilance. Subic Bay stands as both promise and warning, a front line in a new era of global power struggle.